Hi everyone. Now that you've completed the first workbook, we're going to launch into the second video and I'm going to go through the actual design process that we work with our clients, and I've provided you the sheet to work with as well. Now when you're working with your designer, you can use this, or your developer, you can use this sheet and you can share it on Google Drive, so you've got a very live and real document that you're both working from, and you can add comments to it as well. So we usually tend to use Google Drive because it's very versatile. It's a live system, so it's really good, and more than one person can be working on a document at once, which is really great and keeps projects moving along really nicely. In this video, what I'm going to cover off reasonably quickly, it's not going to be as lengthy as the last video, so thanks for your patience with that and working through that, because that's going to give you a really solid foundation for the work ahead for you. It's going to make things a whole lot easier. In the document, the main thing is up here we've got current website. So if you've got a current website, put your URL in there. If you haven't, then just put the domain name there. Whatever your tagline is that you want to use for your company, your slogan, then put that in there, and you should have that in your other document as well, your website planning workbook. So you can say refer to website planning workbook if you like. So anything that's sort of a double up, then certainly refer back to the workbook and the page number. And then we've got here CRM and email, so where your emails need to be linked into. And this is important for any forms or any sign-up form, newsletter sign-up forms for on your page, because your developer is going to be able to need to access those to produce the forms for you and do all the integrations that are needed. And then we get straight in here to what we call your website structure. So with your main navigation here, and this is just a sort of a template, so you can change this in any way, shape or form that you like. So it's just a fairly generic template for you to start with. Of course, your home page, and then usually you won't have any sub-menu pages or what we call the drop-down pages or children pages from your home page. It's usually across here once you get into your other pages that you'll have drop-downs. So your home page here, and then you've got your service, whatever that may be. So let's say, for example, you are a toy store. Then one of your service areas might be puzzles and jigsaws. So that could be an overarching service page. And then one of your sub-menu pages might be puzzles, and then another one might be jigsaws. So this is just to give you a little bit of an idea. If you're a coach or a consultant, for example, that works with corporates, one of your services might be consultancy. Then you would have your drop downs in the areas that you consult on, whether that be leadership development, team building, that could be another sub-menu, emotional IQ, things like that. So they'd be all sub-menu pages. And then you can go across and build as many pages. Normally you don't want to see more than about 5 to 6 pages across your menu, otherwise it starts to get quite cluttered and it can tend to wrap on itself. And just do the same here for your service 2, whatever that service 2 might be. It could be online courses, for example. That might be a service 2. Then you may have a blog page and an About Us page or About Me page. If you've got an e-commerce store, then there could be an access page to your store with all your products, so that's your gateway into your e-commerce store. And then of course your Contact Us page. Now that's simply your website structure from a navigational point of view. So once you've sort of got that mapped out, that gives you the starting blocks for your actual design work. And you've got an area down here for any extra pages. So if there's any extra pages that you need, just place them in the boxes above. And if they need to be a drop down or a sub-menu, sub-page item, then they would go into these boxes here like sub-menu 2 has, for example. So then we move on to the actual design. Now I've given you an example here to give you some visuals around this. And this is by the permission of a client that we've recently worked with. We're building their website out for them at the moment. This is the initial design page that we started with. Essentially up the top here we've got the home page. So you go through and on your home page, start doing screenshots, and what you can do is go across to our website here and just do screenshots on particular areas that you like. So say for example, I'm on the blog demo sites at the moment that we have on our website. You could screenshot this to be your area up here as far as this sort of hero shot or this hero image went. With the navigation bar, you could screenshot something like this if you liked to take that across. Or what you could do is just write it in like I've done here. I've screenshotted this after developing it in a separate document with our client or for our client, just as a draft for them to review and for us to work on. So above there I've got the Contact Us there to start with, phone or email, and there's a call to action button up there, sign up to our newsletter. Their logo is there, the navigation menu with search functionality is there, and then I've got a hero image there. I've included a slider underneath, and then we've got some headline contact here that's been included, okay? But all of this sort of helps you, and you can apply the images, just drop them into the document. You've got a document then, or a template that you can play with and work with and get a real feel for how your website will start to look once you start into development. And from there you can put in product images below, or whatever that may be for you, peculiar to your business and or your services, and then you can build in other sections underneath as well. And you just keep going down your home page like that until you've got a real, like we've got a testimonials area here, another call to action for the newsletter. So think about having call to actions above the fold, which is when we talk about above the fold, we're talking about here. This is above the fold, so when they land on your website, what they're seeing straight up. Think about having a call to action up there. And then think about having a call to action further down the bottom. Okay, so you can do that. And then also to your footer area. Some people will put call to actions in their footer area. This just gives you an idea of how you can start to build your website and get a feel for it and a feel for the look, instead of going to a developer cold or working with a developer cold. Then they go into development and you end up with something you don't really like or doesn't suit you or your business. So then you go into, we've got service one page. So you just start doing the same here and just building out what you want your service one page to look like. And as I said, you're quite welcome to use any of the designs we've got on our demo site for SuccessStream and screenshot them and add them in. And if you're getting a theme, a particular theme, then you can do that with the theme as well. So just start populating that area. Do that for your submenu pages as well. So work through all of those. And then service 2 page submenu. If you've got more service pages, just duplicate those pages. And then with the Our Shop page, do exactly the same. Say, for example, you had a lot of blocks, for example, that you were putting e-commerce in, then you'd have product squares and you'd have the name of the product as well and buy now button. So that'd all be included on those pages. And normally you wouldn't want more than 3 to 4 across the page as far as the columns go on your website. It starts to look too cluttered otherwise. And you'd want click-throughs to sub-menu pages for your product pages and e-commerce as well. And then you go down to your blog page. And then on your blog page, there's a number of blog examples that we've got here with different styles. So have a look at those. And have your masonry grid. And that's like this. You've got a sidebar, so you've got the capability to put sidebars in or leave sidebars out. You can go to a regular grid. This doesn't have a sidebar, but there's no reason you couldn't put a sidebar on a page like this. So have a look around and think about what you actually want your different pages to look like and build that out. And this is another example of our most recent blogs. There's all different ways that you can do this and end up with a website that goes into development that then just needs fine-tuning afterwards. So it saves a lot of frustration and you know your developer's really clear about what you're wanting. Then the same on the About Us page. Go through the About Us page and build that out in any way that you'd like as well. Here's an example of Meet the Team on one of our pages. You can see that you can put all different team members and all sorts of things in there. And you can also do call to actions on there as well. Have a look around and see what your business needs and work from there and just build your page out like that. And the same with the Contact Us page. If you want a big Google map on one side and a form that they can fill in with a message box, and then just draw this up and screenshot whatever it is, the layout that you'd like on that as well. Then last but not least, getting into the footer area. Really important that you think about your footer area, the number of columns that you may want on your footer area. For example, this is a 4-column look. So have a look around and see what's going to work for your particular industry, for your particular business. You might have just a simple footer with just a call to action with an opt-in area. You might just have a straight out footer area with very few details with just some social media icons on there as well. And that's another thing to think about, where you're going to place social media icons, whether they're just going to be in your footer area or at the top of your page, whether you're going to have plugins that'll actually let it scroll down with you for sharing when people are working through your page. Then just going to step 4, you're pretty much finished once you've done your pages like that and screenshotted and pasted everything in there. And then just put below anything else that you want to add so you don't lose sight of that. Your placement for your social media icons and your RSS feed as well. So don't forget your RSS feed. And you can also do an email icon as well. So make sure you go through and do that. Hope the template helps. And if you've got any questions at all, if you want us to work with you to actually build this out with you, just send us an email or give us a call. Happy to do that and happy to answer any questions that you've got. And we hope that this has helped you with your website development.